first time joiners, welcome. And thank you very much for those that have been joining us for the past few times, past few lessons. So today I'm going to share about language and how. Okay, before we start, parent, if you don't mind, you could actually mute yourself. And if you have any question, you just unmute yourself, okay? Or else we're going to mute everybody. All right. So how actually we teach language in Montessori classroom. So I'm very sure that you must be wonder how we actually guides your child in language. And then actually, if you really come into the classroom, then you'll be able to see how the learning to read and to pronounce the sound and how they learn how to write and how to make sentences for those eldest children, then you will be really amazed by them. And this is going to take a very long process. It is not a month or 2 months process where you could see the immediate result because we learn through phonics, and that actually take quite some time. And phonics in the classroom, they practice it every day, they sing it every day. And I'm sure that our teachers as well, they did send the Ants on the Apple song to our parents as well. So whenever you're free, you just on it. I mean, let your child listen. And actually, it will be much better if you could sing along with your child. So you learn along with them. And I would really love to share this with you. Many years ago, when my niece and nephews, they were in 3 to 6 years old. 3 to 6 years old classroom. And I remember my mom one day, she asked my nephew how to read this. Actually, it's an ABC, though. And okay, then it is ABC for my mom time. Actually, our time, we also learn ABC. We didn't learn the phonics. So my mom asked my nephew how to read this, and he said, and then my mom said, what this is not and then she pointed at the B, and she asked him, what is it? And he said, B. Then my mom was like, we pay you to the school, and this is what you learn. This is A, this is B, this is C. And then I remember my nephew said, no, that's not how teachers taught us in the school, and that's not how we learn. We learn the sound. So that is a misunderstanding, and I remember quite vividly on this case, as well as there's many cases in our school. I'm very sure in TSP as well, where parents or even grandparents, they're very confused. You know, they still using their old school way. Well, nothing wrong with that, but it's just that a bit different. I mean, later on when they pick up the sound, the phonic sound, then they're going to learn ABC as well. But whatever that's available in the market right now, basically, I mean, you can find is the ABC song. So that's the old school ABC song. So I saw just now there's a parent, Cindy, say that she didn't have received that. So
yeah, I'm posting right now.
Okay. Okay, so let's have a very quick look to it. Sophie, do you see my screen?
Yes.
Okay, let me enlarge it first. So let's go back to a very quick revision on revision. Okay, let's go back to the charts. The sensitive period of birth from birth to age 6 years old. So you'll notice that the language itself is actually stretched from the birth up to 6 years old. That means that after 6 years old we can't learn language? I know we still learn language. We still learn it, pick it up language. Language is like, I guess it's until the day that the last breath, you know. So language is everyday thing. It's just right in our environment. But at this period of time, where to this sensitive period chart, you will notice that this is the time where they learn language the best. Okay, if it must be provided with the environment with the environment. So like in Malaysia, we can't run away, we can't escape from the 3 languages. However, Bahasa is, however, I think Bahasa is not always our main, even become our second language in the family. So like Bahasa thing, we really need to create the environment for the child to learn language. So from babies, we talk to babies, and then when they're grown up, then we talk to toddler. Basically, I know there were a lot of language involved in here. For example, that we call it a baby talk. So there's a lot of baby talk where we say mom, quick, and then those kind of words. But it is best if we can actually expose our children since very young age. We so-called adult language. Adult language means I know you're hungry. Okay, now let's do this. I mean, instead of like the mom, cook, then the kind of word. So it will be best if we use a word that normally is actually where everybody can understand. It is widely used. So from birth onward, we talk to children. We talk to the baby, then we sing for them. So then outwards, when they are 4 years old, when they're 3, they come into the school environment. At that time, even 2.5, they come into the school environment. The school environment itself that provided a very rich language learning, from practical life, sensorial, mathematics, up to culture. So these 4 areas is very rich with languages. And then of course, in the even classroom itself, even the outdoor itself, it will be a great place for children to learn. So learning language is not just on paper and books. It is actually more than that. Sophie, you can mute 掉哈，那个okay. Thank you. So then if we look at the language, we think about how we learn language when you were young. So my time, we learn language by memorize. A lot of memorize. And then of course, the environment itself do play a very important role as well to learn a language. So like me, I can't read Mandarin, but I could speak Mandarin. It's because my home environment that allowed me to learn Mandarin, but not reading. So same things at your home. If your main language at home is Mandarin, then definitely if you want to enhance the child English, so you need to provide perhaps a chance or another environment for your child to learn language as well at home. Or your child could speak to anyone at home that could speak English. So that would be a great things for the learning language at home. So sing song, and then a lot of rhymes, and we sing rhymes with your children, and even read poems. I mean, a very simple poem, short and sweet poem for children, it will be nice. I think to appreciate the language, we should appreciate the beauty behind the language itself. So rhymes will be a great things for young children to pick up language, and also sing song. So singing are crucial, and then talk to them, do storytelling, and perhaps later I come back about the storytelling parts, about the selections of books that where we actually not. We will actually encourage you to use a certain kind of storybooks for children, and what should be avoided. Okay, so this is basically the chart that I would like to share with you. Then, so actually, why this actually, remember, if you still remember, we talked about the human tendency, and then one of it is that communication. So the most important of language is to conveying our thoughts, feeling, and information to each other. So from what we pick up from verbally, and then it goes in, then they try to remember what is that, they try to make connection, and then as they grow out older, and then they try to write it up. So this is a long process for the language itself. Okay. So, sorry. Okay, let's see because someone told me about the screen thing. Then let's go back to. So, how would actually you involve in your child learning language at home? I would love that if you could share with us, and then we actually learn from you as well. How you actually teach language at home? Is it you read a lot of storybooks, it's just a lot of song and rhymes, or nowadays I think gadgets is the most easier available right now, gadget. So you just turn on the phone and then let your child listen to the song, or you actually sing for your child. So which one that you did the most at home? Anyone would like to share?
Yeah, Miss San, this is Vivian,
Yeah, hi.
Kristen's mommy.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think from in our family, perhaps the most I do, I started this thing when he was even baby. So I hardly talk baby language with him. It's really adult language.
Yeah.
And it's very surprising. Sometimes he can't even pronounce the words properly, but I know what he was talking like. He would I think when he was like starting to talk, he can say imagination. That was
Yeah.
really hard for him, but he kind of knows that what he wants to say. So I think that's actually perhaps most of we do read books, but I think for me, the things I do more often it's really kind of like basically no baby language with him.
Yeah, so if there's no baby language, you will see there's a big differences in between the children. Okay, so let's go to the next one and see. So language, how was language actually teach in the Montessori classroom? As I mentioned, we don't force them to write and read, but we do work with them on phonics, the phonetics. So they sing, and then all learning is through senses. Through their senses where they have sandpaper letter, and then they do a lot of singing with teachers. And not only on, we didn't just put it as a lesson itself in the classroom. The classroom itself, as I mentioned, is already a diversity of a language learning opportunity for the kids. So when they pick up things from the classroom, for example, from the practical life, we will tell them what is this and what is this objects called. So we give them name of everything, name in their environment. And so do what you can do at home as a parent. You can do the same thing. Anything. You can just name everything. Your house is actually basically a very rich environment, a language learning environment for your child as well. So from there, that they start to pick up, then they know what is this and the vocabulary. So do in the classroom. And then from there, we start, they eventually, they start gradually, slowly, they start to pick up pencil and start to write. So I know that some children, they pick up pencil. I mean, adults make them to write when even as young as 2.5 or 3 years old. So basically that is not encouraged unless the child, you will notice that the child have a deep interest, like want to write, but that actually not really writing. That's a beginning of writing. So one first thing that they in the classroom is that what they did, they use sandpaper letters. So this sandpaper letters, parent, if you would like to purchase, I think this is a widely available in the market. But if not, you can DIY this by yourself. It's very simple. Just get the finest sandpapers, and then just cut out the alphabet and paste it on the cardboard, and you will have your own set of sandpaper. Or else you can actually just like this, what the boys is doing actually. I don't think you see that image. Go on. Okay, so either like what this boy is doing in the middle, that he's actually we just use a sand tray. You could even use a sand tray as well, but of course sandpaper letter is a highly recommended for the children to practice writing and the sound, the phonetic sound, and the senses is actually, once they touch it, it will imprint it in their mind Of course, what came before this, there's one more apparatus as well. But basically, this is what we kickstart with the young children in the classroom. So they were being introduced. You will notice there's two different colors on the sandpaper letters, and then there's between consonants and vowels, and then so all are individual sound, and they work along with this with the what do you call it, the ants on the apple at the same time. So they learn how to write without really writing, but at the same time they also learn the phonetic sound, and then later on. Gradually, when they learn most of the sound, then they will move on to the next.
Yes, the screen is changing.
Oh, that's good. Okay, then we have this method instead of design. Actually, this is actually, if you notice in here, when later on, of course, it becomes a design for children in the very artistic way to do designing. But right before that, the purpose of this is that all the shape here, they have all the curve and straight line that will actually enhance the children's memory in every curve and straight line on the sandpaper letter. And this is also help them in future writing. Then we have this large movable alphabet. This is a very, amazing piece of apparatus in the classroom where children learn to write without writing. They write without writing, and then eventually they do sound blending, and some children, they even try to use this to make sentences, short sentence with this piece of large movable alphabet as well. So I remember there's a Tyler mom, I think last time when we talked about maths, she said she have this set of LMA at home as well. Utilize this if you have it, but however, parents, if you don't have this, I think nowadays in the market, they have a lot of those alphabets in plastic or in magnet form. So if it's in magnet form, you just put it on your fridge and then let your child to work with it. And then with the alphabet as well. So at the same time, you can play game with them. So this is for them to learn how to do blending. And then definitely we encourage them to be an individual, independent learner. So we will actually do matching, like you see the boys that on the right side, is actually did matching with the sandpaper letter and the large movable alphabet. So then this will be more further enhance their memories and how they associate. One is in the loose form. This is in the loose form, and then it is not being arranged according to, for large movable alphabet, it's not arranged according to the sequence, the alphabetical sequence. So it is mix up, except the vowel for the consonant is actually mixed up, it's not in sequence. So this is fun because your child will actually just searching, and then they're searching and discover the rest of the alphabet as well. So it is very commonly used in the classroom, and then we combine it with objects, or even with cards, or even without it, the teachers is actually working with them to do sound blending. So for example, a teacher might say cat. So what sound did you hear when I say cat? So the child will start to fetch the sound, and then the child will blend the sound. So that's why the first step, which is a very important, parents, we must know the phonetic sounds first. So same thing when it goes to call at home, you could do the same thing. I mean, if you see any 3-letter words, those can be phonetically blended. You need to sound it out, exaggerate each sound, so your child can able to practice it at home. So books, storybooks, where you can relate it, the very simple storybooks with 3 letters words. 3 letters words, yes. Then what you could do is that you can have the child, you blend with your child, and then the child start to pick up how to read from the phonic sound. So this is a very amazing piece of apparatus in the classroom. Then we have a vocabulary card. So this is a vocab card where children, those that already able to read by themselves, read independently, basically all start with the phonetic sound first. So then when they're able to read it independently, then they will do the matching. So this is alphabetical card where it's the same sound. It start with the same sound, and then either it is an initial sound, or it can be in the middle, or it can be at the end of it. So they do matching and reading. So for the elder children, like this both of this both children, they actually old enough and capable enough to copy the words by themselves. So this is actually encouraged in the classroom. So what about the very young age children? We do a lot of singing, we storytelling, and then we do reading with them, and they work a lot on the large movable alphabet and then the phonetic sound. So that is the foundation for your child to be a future reader, future independence reader. So this is a vocabulary card where they use it for do matching. And not only this, we also have other kinds of cards that widely available in the classroom. So even in culture card as well, parents, culture card is one of the best, I mean, for the children to practice their reading skill. So these are the card. And then we have language boxes. So we have the pink, blue, and green series of the boxes. We start first is by using the object. Then we introduce the name of the object, the naming of the object first. Only later on, when they can work by themselves, even some children, it doesn't need our help to do to introduce the words card to them, because they're able to sound out by themselves. So then they will start to do the rest of the work. So we in the classroom, we kick-started with the object, and then do some blending with the child. But right before this, they did a lot on the large movable alphabet. And then they, after they, from the pink, they could move to the blue boxes. And same thing, the blue boxes is with object, but with much longer phonetical words. And then we have a picture cards from 3D, it become 2D. And then from the green box, this is a phonogram boxes. So children learn how to blend. In this, when your child is in this stage, the green boxes stage, the phonogram stage, they basically, they no longer need teachers' help anymore. They can work independently, and then they can blend the word all by themselves. So basically, we introduce the first box, and then they will do the exploration of the rest of the boxes by themselves. And at this time, your child is really ready. It's really ready for those, we call it a spelling. So they can practice their spelling. So by the age of 6 years old, perhaps some even 5.5 or 6 years old, they could reach this level if they join us since they are 2.5 years old. So those are the boxes that we available in the classroom. And same things go to Bahasa and Mandarin, parents. Whenever I introduce the English, the same goes to Bahasa and Mandarin. Bahasa, we also have the pink, blue, and the green boxes as well. And then we have grammar boxes, and so do the Mandarin. It's the same. The way that we teach, and it's the same like how we teach English in another 2 languages. So this for the Bahasa, they do a lot of matching, and then some children even use the large movable alphabet, the LMA, to blend out the sound. This is how they learn in the classroom. And then the Mandarin. So Mandarin, we have the Chinese, what do you call it, the strokes. Okay, so they learn the stroke, even also using, they're also using the sandpaper letters for the Mandarin to learning strokes, to learn how to write. And then the boxes, we have grammar boxes as well. And same is all in pictures for the children. So they first they learn all the vocab, and then later on, when they're old enough, they will introduce to grammar, and then they will make sentences with the same boxes. So the material in the classroom was actually being recycled again and again and again. So it depends on what age they're using and what are they currently learning. So the usage will be different. So the same kind of box, after the child is able to, let's say, when after a few months, perhaps the child can be exposed to grammar, to making sentences, then we use the same box again, then to make sentences. Same things go to the English and Bahasa as well. So far, is there any question that you would like to ask? Okay, then let's look at, then we have the grammar boxes. So when the child moves to grammar, they are actually, I could say they're already an independent readers. Okay, regardless level, but they able to read by themselves at this age. So as simple as 3-letter words books. I think those that we widely use in the classroom is the Sam and Pam. I'm not so sure is it available in the market right now because we bought that many years ago. But that's a good book, a great books for the children to practice their reading. And of course, there's others phonetics reading as well available in the market. So grammar boxes. So right before they move to combining all the grammar, they would learn nouns. So the moment they enter to the classroom, as I mentioned, the classroom itself is rich environment for the children to learn language. So we tell them what is this? This is fun. We have a classroom nouns, and then we play verbs. So what is verbs? So we play games with the children. So and then we bring the children out to the field or to the garden, and then we introduce more nouns to them, and then we play games. Then they learn about article and what is adjective. There's an adjective game, so we play games with them. So later on, when this, after many times of practice, and then the children are ready to combine those parts of speech together to form a sentence. And one of the great things that we use in the Montessori classroom, which is the farm box, the farm box. So the children can name the animals, and then they put the nouns, the verbs, and then the adjective, and even the article, and then they will start to form a series of sentences by using the animal farm box. So you could actually go and get the farm box as well. I mean, it's not necessarily must be the one that look like us, but in the market, there's a lot of animals, farm animals. You go and get the farm animals, then you can start to play, some role play with your child. Then they can start to talk to you, and then it could actually make sentence as well at the same time while they play with you. So these are the things that we have in the classroom. Then we have the grammar boxes. This is another grammar boxes where children analyze. They're analyzing the sentence. So we have this part of speech here, and children could use it for the part of speech. For example, the red is actually a verb. The black triangle is the nouns, and then the navy blue triangle is the adjective, and then the light blue triangle is the article. Then you could see other shapes that represent other parts of speech. So we have conjunctions, we have interjections, and we have prepositions. So those are the 8 parts of speech in the language. So basically for children up to 6 years old, they will learn a very basic of everything of the part of speech, but in a very basic form. But then they will also at the same time, after they learn, we will get ready for them, and then they will have to do analysis. They have to analyze, for example, touch the board. Touch is a verb, then they will get the symbol of the verb and place it on top. The is article, board is a noun. So then they start to analyze the whole sentence. And of course, this will continue when they go up to elementary classroom. We have much challenging, but yet it's very fun language analysis board for them to analyze not only sentence, but also analyze the paragraph. And for my elementary kids, they even analyze the article, I mean, some paragraph or even some passage and story. So this is actually help them a lot in analyzing, and then of course it will help them so much when they start to write down their thoughts. So writing down the thought it took a very long process, parent. It's not the one snap of fingers. It's not a magic wand thing. So from the beginning itself to the moment they're able to write, like making a sentence, write down their thoughts, it's really take a very long time. And then to paragraph, of course, when they're getting older, and they need to learn how to write stories, and then literature in the classroom as well. What actually we also emphasize a lot of beautiful language used in the classroom. So all this is a very long preparation. It's really needed about 3 years, parents. It's really the 3 years process for you to see the child flourish in language. So in here we say languages in the 3 languages in Malaysia. So we do have parents come and say, hey, how come my child can't read yet? Why? I mean, so we explain to them it really takes a long process. Of course, we can make your child read very quick, but how long this interest will last? We hope that reading can be an everlasting, forever, forever, that the child will pick up books and read. So if we force a child in reading or writing, this interest will stop. Eventually, it will stop at a certain period of time when they get so, when they lost interest, or I could say when they fed up with the reading, so they will stop reading. So what we want is a lifelong learning, because language itself is since birth, as I mentioned, up to the last day of our last breath, we are still involved in language. So these are very important. So and then writing as well is the same thing. And writing, we don't force children writing. Okay, so I know we still have parents that hold their kids' hand and then make them to write, make the children to write. But actually, it is unhealthy to do such a way, because if you go through, if you could find an X-ray of a child, of a very young child, his hand or her hand, the bones development is yet to be fully developed. You could see there's a lot of gap in between fingers. I can't find the pictures and share with you, or else I would love to share with you. You can see there's a lot of gap, and then even just for the child to really pick up pencil, and then initially, I not just say writing, but to scribble, they also need to go through a very long process of to develop their gross motor skill. So that's a very long process. This is not a day thing where you just hold their hand and then help them to write. So it will be nice if it happened naturally. The child will pick up when it's ready. So that's how in the classroom is we don't force children in writing. So okay, let's say you might start worried, what if my child's already 4.5 and he or she yet know how to write? How? So basically in our school, the teachers will print out words. So the child could still do the same thing, and then they can associate the pictures with the paper and then the words, and then they can cut, and then it's all already cut, and then all they need to do is just paste it on the picture. So this is another form of learning language as well, without really have them to really pick up pencil yet. And some children even just really start to write when they're 5 or even 6 years old. So there is a step 7, if I'm not mistaken, there was actually a 7 levels in writing before we could call it writing. Okay, the first step is the scribble. So the child will go through the scribble stage. So where we provide them a gigantic marker pen, or a big marker pen, and then the crayons, and then big color pencil, for them to practice scribble, and then we give them a big piece of paper like the mahjong paper, and then they start to scribble. And then after a certain period of scribbling, you will notice that they will try their very best to draw a vertical line, a straight line, and then they will start to draw a horizontal line. But for them, it's still drawing, it's yet for writing. Then they start to have circle. So basically, if you look at children when they're 3, 4 years old, they start to try to draw a circle, although, and then you could start to see stickmans come out from 4.5 to 5 years old. And then they start to pick up some, they try to imitate some of the writing. So that's how the stages is actually gradually grow. It is not the thing that we could force them, and we could actually hold their hand to do it. So that's for the writing. And then when it comes to language, normally we will encounter one thing, we call it the mirror image. The mirror image, and then you will notice that your child actually write the P is like the 9, and sometimes the 9 is like the P, and then the B and the D. So you will notice that there's a mirror image on this. And then we also have very concerned parents about this. We can understand. And actually, when the child started to just pick up to learn the writing, for them, all the writing is just like a shape. It's like a shape. So there's no a specific for them. But if you notice that, parent, if you notice that mainly all our writing, that the curved side is all facing the right side. Only few words, few letters that are actually facing the left. So if you notice that, so it's quite common for young children, young writers to have a mirror image. So if this do happen, parent, no worry, have them practice. And then in the classroom, what the teachers will do is actually we will have them to trace the sandpaper letter to enhance their memory of the whole writing. So that is one of the way. Instead of we keep pointing to them that it is incorrect, so we better actually let them practice many times, even though it is a mistake, but it's okay, because sooner or later they will know that they'll realize that this is incorrect. So basically, only few mirror image I will notice it when it comes to children's writing. So let's see. So we believe that the child creates his interior life before he can express everything. So he must take things in and learn from the external world, and then use all these things to compose, to exercise his intelligence, and then to find a logical connection between things. So that's why in language at the end, we did a lot of analysis, language analysis with the children. So, and it is very important to write down, to put down our thoughts on paper. So that is for the language part. And let's go back to this storybooks just now, which I would like to share with you. I don't have any specific storybooks with me, but for a very young age, 3 to 6 years old children, we actually not encourage to have storybooks like those fantasy storybooks where they can fantasize, for example, like those animals where they could wear humans' clothes and then they drive car, they go to school like human. So those we are actually not encouraged for 3 to 6 years old children to be exposed on it, because give them a real thing, let them see real thing. So try to avoid storybooks like this, like those that they could fantasize, because they have no idea what is right and what is wrong. Is this true or it's just a pure imagination? So imagination and fantasizing is totally different things. So when the children start from 6 years old onward, then they have a great imagination. Then it's okay for them to read books where animals like, act like human beings, then that's okay, because they can understand, this is not real. Okay, they're able to differentiate the reality of it. So that is for the children's book. And read a lot. We have to read a lot to our children and then talk to them a lot. So then this is for the pencil grip. I would love to share with you. It's a bit blurry, I guess. So we have the fist grip. So you know the fist grip, and then they have digital grip. Digital grip is something like this, they go up. But then we have start to have a finger grip, all 4 finger, then we cross something called tripod grip. Only then you have a dynamic tripod grip where they can manipulate their pen and pencil easily when they write. So when the first time the children pick up their pencil, it's very normal. They have this fisted grip. They hold it like this. So let them go through the process, then you will see the changes of it. But instead of we keep holding their hand to write, at the end, they doesn't know how to write properly. When the moment we let go of their hand, so they have no idea how to manipulate their wrist movement, their fingers, and also how to manipulate with the pencil. So this is a long process as well for writing. So no rushing, parents. You don't have to be really rush into it, because language is a lifetime thing. Okay, so thank you so much. That's my sharing. And then if you have any question or if anything you would love to share with us, please do so. You can unmute yourself, because I see there's a lot of this question. I know. Oh, sorry. Oh, there's a. I'm so sorry. So when I share, I can't read. I can't read the chat. So.
First mom was asking about spelling.
Well, the spelling is, as I mentioned just now, if your child is using the large alphabet in the classroom, basically when they do sound blending, you could even say that's work like a bit like those traditional spelling, but in a very fun way to do.
So yeah,
fun.
I just would like to emphasize on apple is a bit longer drag, and then elephant's is a bit short. Elephant and for apple, for elephant. So this is the one. Fen, would you like to ask more, because it's a wrong writing? Besides for apple, for elephant, what else is the sounds? Because that phonics is something that we need to emphasize again and again. Can you hear me, Fen?
Oh, okay.
Hello?
She says she don't have microphone on her PC, so she can only type. Okay.
Okay, so sorry, it's a long typing. Okay, anyway, I think this is just one of the sounds to differentiate for apple, for elephant, short and long.
Yes, but as I mentioned, example just now I gave of my mom with my nephew and niece. Yeah, we are at the end that I have to tell my mom, please, that's not the way they learn it. Yeah. So then my nephew ended up. He actually taught my mom how he actually learned in school, and then at the end we don't have this kind of problem at home anymore. So we have to inform everybody. Please, I mean. Get everybody from the family and say this is how she learned and how she learned at school. So it will be more helpful in that term.
Okay, for other sounds like phonics, like you might explore them to the first sounds, any sounds of like heard their name. I think they will be more fascinated about their name or whatever sounds like. I do a lot of games with like Charmaine, Sophie, sausages,
yes,
sizzlings, all about S. So they will be more alert with the first sounds, and then some of the last sounds, and then try to break the sounds. So a lot of the sound scheme, like start with whatever they show interest with all the sound scheme. So yeah, these are some of the things that we can play with them. I do understand that some of the parents, it's very difficult for us to not to guide them, especially pincer gripping or the sounds or
Yes.
whatever. It's very, very challenges. But we step back. It's not saying that we don't want to correct them, but we step back and then observe what are the difficulty and the barriers that they face right now in terms of like straight away tell them that you are wrong. So give them some chance and observe them how to break through the that try and error. Error is always there, but how are we going to support them and then let them understand you can try, always you can always try, but if there is an error, we try to figure out, but not strict and it's on the spot that string wrongly, there'll be very yeah, very challenges for them. Yeah. Anything else?
Yeah, I think you can even play if you know that your child currently is learning on the phonics sound. You can even play game with them on the road. So car pass by. Okay, what's this? Okay, can you I mean, we play sound now. Okay, I spy things like this. So it's very fun. It's a very fun thing on the road as well. You could do it inside the car.
I spy with your little eyes. What can you see? The car, the number plates, the color, whatever things. So lots of talking, discussion.
Yes. And then I guess it's even they even help out in the kitchen. You could actually have a conversation with them. For example, if they just say apple, then you can ask what color is this apple? Or it's red apple. Okay, let's guess. Do you think it's going to be sweet or sour or sweet and sour? So let them talk to you. We have to talk a lot with our children, a lot. Bombarded that with language. Language is really from our own voice. But adult parents, you sing to your child, not your phone sing to your child. because I know it is so easy to just switch on. I mean, go to YouTube or whatever, just switch on and just let them listen. But that's not the language that they want. They want language is from us, that they want to listen to our own voice and they want to see how our mouth is actually move. And currently is due to the pandemic things. Well, it's best for you to talk to your child at home because they could see how the movement of your mouth is very important for the child to learn. And yeah, I think try to cut down or not at all if it's possible. I mean, gadgets, okay? Not using the gadget to teach them because they only pick up language from the gadgets, not from you. And yet sometimes the language that they use, the spoken, the speed is just too fast for the child to understand what is this about, or pick up the correct pronunciation. So it will be the best if we do it by ourselves. And then about the mirror image, okay, I guess Vivian, hope that is useful for you to know about the mirror image. Actually, normally mirror image you will notice from the age 4 years old to 7 years old. Yes, even in my 7 years old, I still have kids that have mirror image at 7 years old. Yeah, but you will see how great it is that when they discover, hey, that is not how you're supposed to write. That is much better than we tell them. But we must create that environment for the child to discover. So then the child will learn. Perhaps you could actually pretend, just write it, sit right beside your child and to write certain words, certain letters, so your child could see it. We create that environment of learning, but not directly correcting the child, especially for those young writers, parents. I mean, they just pick up their pencil and learn to write. I mean, they have that courage to write in front of you, and then you say wrong. Oh, that hurts. That really hurts. So
I think another one is that erase their incorrect.
Oh, yes, yes, yes.
Yeah. You rather ask them to write more according to the correct formation, but
Yes.
try not to erase. I think they will feel, oh, my effort
Yeah,
is
yeah,
not
yes,
being appreciated.
yes. All those effort, you just imagine that all those effort, they have to use so much of their muscle and then their strength to write, and then suddenly we just erase it with a eraser, and then you have to imagine in the way that you do something, you're going to present it the next day, and then suddenly you forgot to save it, and then it's gone. So that kind of feeling. Oh, that's hers. That's hers. I mean, the same thing goes. The same thing. The child will feel the same thing as well. So not really. I mean, we prefer the child to realize it and then the child erase it by himself or herself. So not by us. Yeah.
Yeah, regarding the hand bone, just now Sam was mentioned.
Yes.
I managed to find one of the picture, but couldn't share here. But just for your information, we have 206 bones in the whole body, but the hand actually has already occupied for 50 bones. But in the process of development, children, they yet to develop to 50 bones. So so there's a long way to develop. So they are trying their very great efforts to write, to hold, to do all those things. So in this time, at this moment, that maybe we just explore them to do a lot of like gross motos, like how to grip the things, how to use the Play-Doh, how to use just now what Sam was mentioned, the sand tray, whatever, watering, play sand, play water, all these things to build and stronger their, make sure their hands pincer gripping is stronger. Lots of exercises.
Yes. Play a lot of Play-Doh with them, a lot. It's very good. And then do a lot of exercise like throwing ball, and then they could even do planting, digging, play sand, and monkey bars. Like those 4 years old, they can do a simple monkey. I mean, just they can hang on there. It's actually all this will actually enhance their gross motor skill. And then let them help out at home as well, do some cleaning, sweeping, I mean, washing. All this require their muscle strength. So this will really help them in the future when we actually prepare them, if you want to prepare them for future riders.
One more thing I would like to remind parents, despite all the apparatus that we use in the classroom, if you don't have, don't worry. You only need to like talk to them, especially the story, bedtime story. You don't need to have the full sets of our apparatus,
Yes.
but you need to talk to them, connect to them, make sure that they are really alert and conscious. So storytelling is a very important activity, especially bedtime story or imagination story.
I think a lot of games, and you could even share your days with your child, So what you see and what you did, and then all those are language.
Yeah.
Reading is the best. I like reading. I mean, reading is the best thing. And it just costs you maximum 30 minutes per day. and then it's very nice. So you will realize one day your child will say, no, I would like to read by myself. That is the way you found it very rewarding at that time. So read to them, and sometimes not only read to them. Let's say you could have a conversation with the child about the characters, about the stories, and anything. Like Miss Sophie said, it can be imaginations. Imagine if we have this. Imagine. So it is something very fun to do with the children. And and then I'm not so sure. Do you still use magazine or any like those leaflet that you can get from the supermarket? You actually can cut out, like those in grocery store. You can actually cut out and then keep that You could actually work that with your child as well. Use that as a material for your child to learn language at home as well. It's great. And then if your child is in the levels of sentences makings, then use the same kind of pictures, the same pictures that you cut it out, perhaps from books or magazines or leaflet, whatever that could be, and then have your child to make sentences. So that's one very fun way to do it as well. Or anything available at home, you could use it as a teaching material. It's not necessary must buy Montessori apparatus. No, it can be anything from home. So is there any question that you would love to ask, or anything more you would like to know?
Or any discovery or have any
Yes.
fun activity or fun experience with your child, just share with us
Yes.
if you do have.
Actually, I would like to hear more from other parents how they actually manage the time, because I always find it's very challenging. I mean, I'm very much like a storytelling person, and I enjoy that portion, right? But recently I realized it's kind of like it's getting less and less time.
Yes.
I think one thing is also like I don't want him to go to bed too late. It's really kind of like, that balance. I realized ever since MC, he started to go back to school, right? The amount of time spent on the reading is actually much less. I don't know how other parents, do that. I would like to hear.
Well, while waiting for others' parents, welcome others' parents to join. But for me, I know that I'm also a busy mother when my kids was young. So I make sure that we clean up and then we prepare to go to bed by 8 or 8:30. I have an hour or maximum 1 hour for us to chat. If I'm still have full of energy, I'm full of energy, then I'll tell them a detailed story. But if I'm too tired, I'm exhausted, I'll just lie down and then tell the imagination story. And then I just imagine like, wow, what happened to you? Or maybe just imagine another kids, but not the same name. So I tell all this, how to encourage them to eat by themselves, take bath by themselves, or whatever it is. So it depends on you. Of course, I believe mother, you should have your own time, your me time or whatever. But with the children, you plan accordingly. But when there is you feel really tired, the imagination story is very good for you to spend the time. But the talking, the dialogue is still there. The discovery or the message you want to deliver is still there. But you no need to really take a book to tell in details, and then they will question you, what is this? No. But the dialogue is very important. How about other parents, if you have any tips to share?
Vivian, your concern is actually your son's reading time is getting lesser and lesser, or you read with him is getting lesser and lesser. So which one?
I think his reading time is getting lesser and lesser.
I see.
Just
I
now
see.
when Miss
I
Sophie
see,
mentioned that 8 o'clock and 8:30 go to bed, I'm like, oh my god, my kids. I mean, like really rare. I think that's used to happen, but now it's like
You need
really
to
rare
unwind
occasions.
You need to really unwind all the habits, right? Just try.
Because sometimes I realize that there's so many things he wants to do. He want to go out and play with friends, and he want to kind of like having some gadgets time. And then by the time all this is done, it's really kind of like, oh, okay, it's already 9 o'clock. It's still kind of like, haven't really get ready yet. So yeah, so I guess that's kind of like a challenge